Hi, my name is Sudhir Srinivasan. I come from the New Indian Express. So, three people, 8 minutes. This is its own version of a thriller, isn't it? In a sense.
Yes, it is. Yes, breakneck, propulsive.
So let's make it as quick and breathless as possible. Then. John, Anthony, Russo, pleasure to meet you guys again. Dhanush, always a pleasure. உங்களை சந்திக்கிறதுல ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம்.
ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். Thank you.
Right. I'm not sure if you guys know, but back when Dhanush was in formative stages of his career, we used to call him our version of Bruce Lee. There was a period when we did that, and now for him to do a Hollywood film, so dreams do come true, no, Dhanush? Would you call this the biggest dream for you?
Not the biggest, but I have bigger dreams. I mean, you have to dream like at the biggest possible, right? I mean, I have my hunger. I would rather say it hunger. It's still. I'm still. The fire is still on, and I'm still looking to do more work and more serious work. And they have given me a beautiful opening, and they found me from here, and they've given me a beautiful opening, and I have to see from here where God takes me and where I go. So it's nice. I don't want to give you long answers and take much time from your 8 minutes.
No, don't worry about it.
But it's funny you mentioned that Bruce Lee. I remember the first time we ever heard of Dhanush, someone mentioned in reference to Bruce Lee.
There you go.
Which is amazing.
Right. I think someone at the press conference tried to speak about the whole Tamil identity of this character.
Yeah.
But I personally think there's great utility in defining that person by that, micro definition of who that character is. And I say that mainly because every time a certain artist from India becomes popular, they invariably get brushed under the Bollywood label.
Right.
So this is definitely useful, and I think it serves a certain utility. Dhanush, should we thank you for making that distinction clear to them?
We should thank him for making that distinction clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
It adds great context to the character. And as we said, flavor. It's sort of let's be specific rather than less specific.
It's also very nice of them to be so receptive and to agree to. They found it very interesting, and that was really amazing.
Right. And you guys spoke about how you like to communicate a variety of emotions through your films, be it sentiment, comedy, action. Dhanush, did you tell them we are specialists in doing a bit of everything for everyone in our films?
Not really. I mean, we were working in very different conditions. It was COVID peak time. We were all working under a lot of restrictions, and to sit and have a decent conversation was a very tough task at that point of time. Everybody, we couldn't even see each other's faces properly. We were all covered. And so maybe I'll talk to them. I'll have more time. And now that it's a little better now, the world is healing and it's a better place now. I will have time to sit with them and talk to them about all that.
Your protagonist, of course, is almost an antithesis of Bond in a sense.
Right. He's the opposite Bond.
Yeah. I mean, you make a reference to that as well in the film. Yes. And the theme also sounds suspiciously similar to the Bond theme as well.
He's very, we're very self-aware filmmakers. We grew up loving movies, so we like to make, we like to pay homage to them as much as we like to make fun of them. So it's hard for us to take anything seriously, but that said, this character, what we liked about him was the blue-collar character. He's a very proletariat hero. Doesn't want to be a spy. Doesn't like anything about it. Doesn't appreciate any of the glamour of it. Doesn't indulge in it. He knows he's a killer, and all he wants is 5 minutes of freedom before he dies. So it's a little edgier and darker in that regard. He's more of an existential hero. And that's what drew us to the project. Was this is seems like a very modern interpretation of a spy.
And at a time when systems and governments across the world are demanding unquestioning patriotism and loyalty.
That's right.
I think there's definite utility in having protagonists who are rogues and rebels in a sense. No?
That's right, especially when the system is corrupt, as it is in the film. So I think, ultimately we are making statements about corrupt patriarchy. His father's abusive, the CIA is abusive, so he's constantly rejecting corrupt patriarchy.
But and it's also nice. I do think it's modern too, in the sense of your problem isn't the other. Your problem is within your own system and your own self. And I think that's a better way to sort of, for us all to examine who we are and who we want to be.
And you spoke about patriarchy, and I loved that Anna de Armas does not require to be rescued, as those characters usually do in these films.
She's rescuing
Yeah.
him.
And I could see that you probably felt a lot of anger when you saw a lot of heroines pretty much getting rescued by the action heroes, and that's that.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was really important for us to have a strong, independent female character in the movie, and she does. She has her story is not dependent necessarily on his story, and she does most of the saving in the movie, and not him. And so we like taking some of the conventions, traditional conventions, turning them on their head while also winking at and appreciating a little Bond-esque cue here, a little joke about 007 there. Along the way, so we kind of mix it all together into hopefully a big entertaining stew for you.
Dhanush, over the years, you've become a natural, of course, and a lot of us who've seen your films over the years know that. When you get an opportunity like this, when you're eager to impress, let's say, and this is obviously a big opportunity, how do you make sure that you still retain the natural actor that you are? And you make sure that this eagerness to impress and to show them what you can do does not come in the way of your natural flair?
I never approached it like that. It was never like I want to impress them. I want to show them what I can do. It was never like that. I wanted to do a convincing job of what was given to me. I know it's a big opportunity. I know there's a lot of scope. I wanted to make use of the opportunity and deliver my best. But that's got nothing to do with like to impress. I never approached it like that. I've said this before, I'll say this again. I only felt the responsibility to deliver as a talent because the West is watching and the West is watching India. So if I do a good job, they'll know like there are more talents from India who can come from there. More talents from India can go from there. So that's the kind of responsibility I felt. Other than that, definitely I didn't approach it like that.
Right. Anthony and Joe, do you guys think that films of this genre, especially when you infuse it with a lot of humor, they're not as appreciated as they probably should be? Do you think?
I think so. I mean,
The movies are not as appreciated?
Yeah, I mean, movies with action films, especially with humor built into the system, like your...
they were our favorite kinds of films in a lot of ways. We
appreciate it.
we have a whole,
I mean, of course.
I think we have a career that's been built around just not really caring what people think about what we do or what we like, and us not caring conversely about what they like. We just make stories that entertain us, and then we hope that others are entertained as well. And so it seems there's always some level of like precociousness about convention around what filmmaking is, and it's very boring to us. that convention. It's really it's constricting. It's already a form that has been abused for too many years now. I don't know how else to make a 2-hour narrative that's different than what you've seen in the past.
Right.
So for us, we'd rather embrace it knowingly, have fun with it, make sure you're having fun with it, and then give you a few morsels to chew on, like some thematics and try to make it as global and interesting as possible.
I mean, and the thing is, we're trying to give people a meaningful experience in the theater, whatever they're looking for in the theater, entertainment.
Or on Netflix.
Yeah, or on Netflix, of course. But you can't be all things to all people. You just have to sort of, you try to create an experience that's going to speak to some people in a meaningful way, and if you pull that off, then we consider it a success.
Any plans of returning to the Marvel universe? Because I mean, it's just a personal opinion, but I think it could do with the Russo touch.
We are, what's interesting is, one, no plans on our part. We're working on our company called Agbo, and we're focused, hopefully we'll be focused on Gray Man 2 if the audience really likes this movie very soon. But, I think it's interesting because, Marvel can't continue to do what it did, because then everyone be saying, oh, they're just doing what they've done all along. So I think they're stretching in a way. They're taking risks. They're becoming more diverse. Certainly there's more volume. That's a product of success. But I think within this, I think the audience has to embrace it as something different than what it was, and not try to compare it to what it was, which I think is probably a good reason that we're not involved anymore, because it's time for new voices to come in and take us to surprising places.
Right. As a final question to you, Dhanush, you spoke about how the training that you underwent for the action set pieces in this film was nothing like you had undergone in the last 50 odd Tamil films that you've done, or Hindi films as well. What learnings do you think you can now take back to some of our own films from what you've seen here?
Stunt training?
Yeah. In terms of how its fights are approached, or even the system in which how it's...
I think I can make it much easier for the stunt choreographers henceforth, from whoever I'm going to be working with. They trained me so well. I understood the basics, the way it should be understood. So they take you from the basics. They start from the basics, and they, like I said, they make you look like a pro. So it made me approach stunt choreography in a whole different way. So it's going to be, I hope it will be easier for the stunt choreographers to work with me henceforth.
Right. I mean, there's been a lot of English speaking, so I hope the Russos will forgive me for this.
No, please.
But maybe நீங்க தமிழ்ல you could இந்த படம் மக்கள் ஏன் பார்க்கணும்னு நீங்க நினைக்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னா நீங்க என்ன சொல்லுவீங்க? And anything else that you want to communicate to?
இந்த படம் இப்போ ஆக்ஷன் ஃபிலிம் ஃபேன்ஸுக்கு இந்த படம் ஒரு பெரிய ட்ரீட்டாக இருக்கும். நம்ம எல்லாருமே ஆக்ஷன் ஃபிலிம்ஸ் பார்த்து தான், ஹாலிவுட் ஆக்ஷன் ஃபிலிம்ஸ் பார்த்து தான் வளர்ந்தோம். ஸ்டார்டிங் ஃப்ரம் டை ஹார்ட்லேருந்து அதுக்கப்புறம் எவ்வளோ படங்கள், லைக் அவங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி லீத்தல் வெப்பன், ஃபிஃப்த் எலிமெண்ட், அது நிறைய ப்ரிடேட்டர் அண்ட் ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட் டே, இவ்வளோ இந்த மாதிரி ஆக்ஷன் படங்கள் பார்த்து நம்ம வளர்ந்தோம். ஸோ நிச்சயமாக நமக்கு வந்து ஒரு ஆக்ஷன் ஃபிலிம் ஃபேன்ஸ்க்கு இது ஒரு பெரிய ஃபீஸ்டாக இருக்கும். ஸோ கண்டிப்பாக ஒரு பெரிய விஷுவல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் இந்த படம்.
அண்ட் இது நடுவில் நம்மளிருந்து ஒருத்தர் அங்கே இருக்காங்க அப்படிங்கிறதும் ஒரு பெரிய சந்தோஷத்தை கொடுக்குங்க.
கடவுள் ஆசீர்வாதம்.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the time that you've given me, and thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you for the
Appreciate
great
your
questions.
questions. Thank you. Yeah.